All right, let's do it. It is Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn, Monday the 30th of August, and we're here with our weekly recap episode. The Mondays are always our season-to-date record, if you will. So let's get right to it, and then we have a couple picks, just two picks for you for this Monday. So last week was we're out of the groove now. I mean, it wasn't a bad week. It was we broke even. We just didn't have a lot of picks, and I don't know. Prices are getting expensive on these favorites that we've been cleaning up with. Pretty much from the trade deadline up until maybe beginning of last week, we've cleaned up with these favorites. But prices are getting very expensive now, so we're out of the groove a little bit. But still, 27, 28 units to the good. I can't complain about that. That's everything we had hoped it would be before the season started. So, winning, that's what we've been doing here. Our guest handicapper, Pittsburgh Louie, had a bad week. That's what I'm talking about, is these big favorites. You better get them right, because if you miss a few of them, it really screws your week up. And he missed some big numbers on some big favorites, and that threw him backwards. He's now plus 14 units for the year. Whereas at the beginning of the week, he was almost 24 units, so negative 9, 10 units for him last week, so that was not so good. But he might pick it up. He's bounced back before, so he may bounce off of that this week. We'll see what happens. Let's see what else. Like I said, I've been kind of just... I forgot to check my biorhythms. I think my biorhythms are down. I'm just really tired right now. Just really fatigued. It's hard to handicap when your mind's tired, when you're just foggy and you can't think clearly. That's very difficult to handicap. I saw we split our two college football picks on Saturday. Outright winner with Illinois, Hawaii. I don't know. I didn't see 1 minute of that game, so I don't know what happened there. I guess did they get behind early with a rash of turnovers and then just it snowballed on them? I don't know. I think that's what happened. But anyway, I don't think there are going to be a lot of college football picks this week. You got your big week number 1 coming up, and I know that's what everybody wants to bet. I just don't think they're going to be, well, for a number of reasons. 1, I'm probably going to be out of town this weekend. 2, I don't like betting that first week. It's just a lot of how I handicap relies on what happened the week before. And there is no week before in week 1. So you're just guessing. And I'm sure some people have ways or models that they use to try to figure out who's going to win in week 1. I don't know. I mean, I don't have time to go through each roster and painstakingly figure out who's new, who's back, who's transferred, who didn't. I just let them play a week or 2, and then I can read off of that and see who's good and who's not. So that's what's probably. I might have a handful of picks, but I doubt there'll be a lot for college football in week 1. So sorry if that disappoints you, but that's kind of what we see going forward there. Politically, what's going on? I guess we got to wait to see if that hurricane created any real damage. I think the power outage is somewhat worrisome. That looked to me like the most... I didn't see this reported widely. It's gotten to a point in this country where you really got to look for news, like real hard news, because the, quote, news organizations They're not news organizations, as Tucker Carlson calls them. They're political organizations. They don't report the news. They only report the news they want you to hear. And the power outages is perhaps not a normal power outage. The main, or one of the main, it looked like the biggest perhaps, transmission tower. If you can picture what that is, you know, one of these giant ass towers. Where all the power lines come off of. One of the biggest towers fell over into the river, into the Mississippi River. So that's caused a lot of the power outages. I don't know what it's going to entail to fix that. I mean, is it just laying there and all they got to do is just put it back up again? Or did it wash into the Gulf of Mexico? I don't know. So that's part of what's going on down there. A power outage can be incredibly damaging if it goes on long enough. So if the power's out down there for 2, 3, 4 weeks, people are going to die. Hopefully that's not going to be the case. If I recall my Katrina history, it wasn't apparent that it was such a catastrophe for at least a couple days after the hurricane went through. In other words, the Monday after the hurricane and Katrina, it was just kind of like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then by Wednesday, it was obvious that, boy, things are bad down there. So hopefully that's not going to happen. It probably won't. You would like to think they've learned a few things down there, but you never know. I've been hearing some really disturbing stuff about Afghanistan. It's the kind of stuff, it's like, what the? None of this makes sense. It's like, whose side are we on? You know, Biden basically admitted that there's a list that we gave to the Taliban, we, the United States government, the United States military, whatever, gave a list to the Taliban of all our people. Hey, look, here are all the Americans. Here are all the Afghanistan people that help the Americans. Here's a list of our people. Why would you do that? I mean, you're trying to tell me that the Taliban is our allies or something, that they're going to somehow help us to go find these people or let them through to the airport? Doesn't make any sense at all. None. For one reason, why are they trying to get to the airport if the Taliban are our buddies? They're not our buddies. They're not our buddies. So all this is just a handy-dandy kill list. Thank you, government. Well, now we don't have to look so hard. We know exactly where to go to kill these people. Why would you do that? Biden, as much as admitted as they did it, he didn't deny it. Oh, well, that might have happened. I can't reason that one out. I don't know why that would have happened. This morning, I'm hearing rumors about buses full of Americans pulling up to the Kabul airport, and the American military, just saying, "Go away. Airlift's over. Sorry, you missed it." Oh, yeah. Had you only been here a day sooner, sorry. And you don't know what to believe because you're catching this. Yeah, obviously, as I said, we don't have a media in this country anymore. We have a Pravda. So they don't report any of this type of news. So you're catching it from a few in-country, independent type reporters, and they're tweeting it out that their sources apparently are retired special ops people, that there is definitely an underground railroad type movement going on over there where they're trying to get these retired special ops people to use their resources and connections to pull strings and pay people off and do whatever to get, buddies of us, of the United States, of people that have helped us, whether that be Afghanis or actual Americans and get them out. But then you're hearing all over the place that that's being stopped by the United States government, that the State Department is trying to shut that down at every turn. And that, again, it's like, what? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. What are you doing? I don't get this. The buses being turned away from the airport. I mean, the reports were that the Taliban seized all those people in the buses, and of course, I'm sure they, all took them to Disneyland. Of course not. They took them and shot them. That's what probably happened. And it's like, what the? We could have let them in, and they could have escaped, but instead we crossed our arms and let them get shot. Again, it's hard to tell what to believe because. But it seems like that's something that definitely could have happened. I don't know. It's really disturbing. It's kind of like, whose team is Joe Biden playing for? Is he on our team at all? Or is he just, I know this guy is compromised by the Chinese. I mean, if you trafficked at all in the Biden history, if you trafficked at all in any of the Hunter Biden history, these guys are hip deep in the pockets of the Chinese government. But it's just a question of how deeply they're in there. It's like, yeah, I expect you guys will be doing some favors for the Chinese government here and there. But does that mean you're selling out Americans in Afghanistan? And then again, how's that help the Chinese? I'm not even sure about that. Everyone tells me that the Chinese are going to now take over Afghanistan. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know. The Russians tried that. That didn't work. So I don't know if the Chinese are going to take that place over or not. It's just the fact that we're just leaving people over there, and it seems like not only are we making no effort to get them out, we're actively standing in the way of efforts to get them out. I don't get that. I can't figure that. That makes no sense. It's like it goes beyond you're incompetent. It's like you're willingly trying to get our people killed. It's like, what are you doing? I can't figure it. So, like I said, disturbing stuff. Other than that, I think that's enough politics. Like I said, I'm tired today, so I probably can't speak thoroughly on other topics. So let's just do the picks, and then we'll be done with it. Neither of these games really are jumping out at me here. The Phillies, they're still in it. This is a huge day for the Phillies. They've won 3 in a row. They're still 4.5 games off the pace. I don't think they're a serious threat at this point. This time tomorrow, they could be a game closer, though, because the Braves are at the Dodgers, and they'll probably lose, so the Phillies are favored to win. They could get a game closer. Today's a big day. They got to have this game. They got to have this game. I think we're just playing this basically saying, look, the Nationals are out of it. The Nationals sold off at the deadline. The Phillies are wanting to play this game so much more than the Nationals are. The Phillies are an untrustworthy team. That's why I do not like this game at all. But, I mean, in this type of situation, you would definitely want the team that's got something to play for against the team that sold everybody off. So we'll take the Phillies. Cross our fingers that Zach Wheeler can be better than what he's been recently. He's simply not been good enough recently. So, not crazy about that game. And then the Astros, not crazy about that game. I mean, largely just because they got blown out yesterday. And generally speaking, the blowout theory, when a team gets blown out in, say, professional football, you always look to play that team coming back the next week. There's a tip for you. I think that one's a tried and true angle that works. That the NFL, the teams in the NFL are not that divergent as far as talent, ability. Little things make up the difference week to week. And if you get a motivated, we're embarrassed type team, that's a valuable thing, and you should be looking to play that on a regular season Sunday in the NFL. Now, in baseball, if a team gets blown out, the season's just so long that they're very likely just to lose the next day, too. They play these games. You don't even have 24 hours off in between games. It's just boom, 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 boom. You need like something. I guess the only reason why we're going to say, all right, let's play the Astros, despite the fact they lost by 10 runs yesterday, is they got on an airplane and they're going to a whole different city, and maybe that'll just reset them a little bit, where they'll go out and go, all right, let's game one against the Mariners, who we always handle, and let's just forget what happened that last game in Dallas, and let's just play like scores nothing, and we'll just assume that our pitching staff's going to be better than it was yesterday. So that's what we're hoping, is that the change of scenery will give them just a little bit of a reset, and that bad taste they have in their mouth from yesterday won't linger. And they just generally own the Mariners. So that's basically the thinking there. That's really all we got for you. Like I said, schedule video-wise, I hope we have at least one or two more earlier in the week for you, Tuesday, Wednesday maybe. We'll see. I got just an insane amount of work stacked on my desk at the moment, so it's going to be touchy. We'll do the best we can for you. Like I said, I right now, baseball-wise, I still have a really good record, but my mind is starting to fog a little bit. I'm out of the groove, so I don't know if we'll catch it back up again this week, next week, maybe next season. We'll see. We'll just have to see. What we're trying not to do is force picks and just, have a big-ass losing streak. That'll just really make me sad. So we don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. All right, great. Hey, hit the like button if we've given you winning picks this season. We have. If we've entertained you at all this season, that's questionable. Hey, if you want football picks, hey, hit subscribe, because that's coming up here, and we are going to follow college football. We are going to finish handicap the NFL. We have done well with those in the distant past, not the recent pandemic past, which really doesn't count. At least that's our story, and we're sticking to it. So we'll see you again. Eric Arnold signing off.